My name is Tonya Curry, and this is this week's Acumen Media Report. The report is entitled Presidents, the Doc, and All of That. We expected so many court cases that I prepared to juggle YouTube channel subscriptions to keep up. We had a lineup that was meant to start with Jacob Zuma in court, followed by Ace Magashule, and then President Ramaphosa would be at the State Capture Commission. I'm sure I'm not going to see your surprised face when I tell you only one of these things happened, and that was our president in front of Chief Justice Zondo. He spent over 8 hours giving testimony under the eye of the Zondo Commission. It started off slow, a bit like the state of Transnet after that cyber attack. Oh, you didn't hear about it? Allow me to enlighten you. Transnet was hacked. They were hacked to such a degree that we are now faced with truckload after truckload on our inter-provincial roads to move critical goods. This time, we did not see a set of looters. This was a hack that crippled our transport system in milliseconds. Sounds a bit high-tech, doesn't it? Yep. Wonder who did that then? This happened just moments after our production lines in 2 provinces were seriously compromised through a failed coup attempt. It's certainly not an isolated event, but we heard so little of the perpetrators, the mission to catch them and all of that. If you missed it, you weren't sleeping, the media was. In fact, it's one of our smallest stories this week. I digress. State capture, hot off the heels of the cabinet reshuffle, saw a calm and collected Ramaphosa took the stand. He spoke a great deal in the beginning, and then the tough questions came. What is your involvement with Optimum? Have you met the Guptas? Why haven't the people that have admitted wrongdoing gone to jail? Why didn't you stop this gluttony of state capital? Why did you watch Zuma hit the self-destruct button? It was incredible to watch the man of the highest position in the country sitting on a very battered chair. Side thought, I wondered how many people sat in that chair before him. Another thought, couldn't they have swapped that chair for one that was untattered? I mean, really, this is the president and all of that. On second thought, though, I think that a battered chair is quite fitting as a throne during this testimony. The president came across sincere as he explained that he is and has been playing that long game of chess that we keep talking about. He considered resigning during Zuma's reign of terror, but felt he could do more from the inside. He makes a great point. Are you listening, Herman Mashaba? There were moments in the testimony when the president said he was shocked, even though he said he'd been cautioned not to use those words. We laughed. It's funny because it's true. The excellence of the advocates and Chief Justice Zondo during these proceedings was exceptional. A reason to feel so very proud of these handful of people that are relentless in their pursuit for the truth. These exceptional people that Zuma refuses to appear before. These people he calls biased and all of that. I can't believe I'm writing about Zuma again. Oh yeah, bora. In case you missed it, he went to jail. Well, he was quarantined for 14 days, so he didn't go to jail exactly. Then his brother died. He went to the funeral. Enter another 14 days of quarantine and all of that. During this time, Ubaba insisted on appearing in person at the arms deal and all of that case that was set down actually for this week. He said it was his constitutional right to appear in person, and the judge said, okay. At the end of the last quarantine, though, he went in for a routine doctor's check. You could almost hear the whole of South Africa say the word shakes. We knew it was coming, and here it was. With almost half his so-called sentence, so-called served, it apparently takes doctors over 10 days to write an assessment of his health. With my doctor, it takes about 3 minutes and 12 seconds. That's because I go when I'm actually sick. Enter the state. They say they want their own doctor to read this report and examine Zuma. Later, we hear rumors that he has a very rare disease, one that requires very special attention. It is a rare disease, the shakes. Only one other person in this country had it before, and we all know what the prescription note should read. Put him in a beautiful so-called hospital with a golf course and all of that, and he'll be fine in less than the time you can tee up the golf cart. There were many stories to keep us happy, though, South Africa. South Africa won the rugby with the Bokke beating the Lions. Always a great story, and sport is such a great unifier. Thank goodness. We were behind the Olympics all the way until we heard that Team SA medal winners didn't get a cent. Not a cent. SASCA couldn't even commit to provide incentives to reward swimmer Tatiana Schoenmaker and surfer Bianca Buitendag, who won the team's only 3 medals. What on earth is that about? They reckon they're bankrupt, yet they're heavily sponsored by Telkom. One guy said, no more of all of that. Mike Shaman took it upon himself to raise funds for the Olympians, and at the last count, he was at 300,000. That's excellence right there. See what's possible when we don't like what we see. Can we copy-paste that ethos across this ongoing tug-of-war with the outside forces that are attacking our countrymen and all of that? Apart from the devastation at Transnet, we also saw with great surprise and a sneaky bit of pride that Medupi Power Station was up and running. Our pride was dulled when we were told that it didn't mean that load shedding was over. And as if that wasn't enough, our pride turned to dismay as the very same week that power station that was working like a bomb got bombed. Damage to the tune of 135 billion is expected. Many years of work and all of that. Where are these people? Why aren't there cameras on such a monster project? Is there no security? It's the same with Transnet. Why isn't there a massive hunt for the people that are waging war on our country? Surely these are acts of sheer treason. I would be doing you an injustice if I didn't speak to you about Mapisa Kula. You remember her. Cast your mind back a bit, about 18 months or so. She hopped on a plane with Ace Makashile to Zimbabwe when we were on level 5 lockdown. Do you remember her now? That and the story that her husband took a chunk of illegal cash. The president gave her an official warning, and here she is, ladies and gentlemen. She was heading up SANDF, and now she is no other than Madam Speaker. What on earth is all of that about? Someone said, and they make perfect sense, the military should be run by someone who actually works or worked in the military. That's just common sense, right? Right. Talking of Ace, he's trying to sideline himself from the gang of crooks that has had their charges up to over 70 in the asbestos case. That's a long time behind bars. No wonder he's doing a bit of a sidestep. Not a step aside, though. Don't confuse the two. Oh, and of course, that was postponed. Am I pointing out the obvious? Sorry, it's been too much of all of that, hasn't it? Simizi and Mahale made their fight very public, with Mahale accusing the star of physical abuse. And I listened to the leak interview and I'm not convinced. I might be alone in this one, but Simizi took a voluntary hiatus from his television show to deal with the set of claims, but Mahale seems to be gunning for his own show. That's how I read it, and he may even get it. I find celebrity gossip so redundant. Just because your face is on TV doesn't mean we should care more about you than the women who get raped every day in our country. I'm sorry if I sound detached. Go to the police, Mahale, like everyone else has to. Across the Waters was no better. We had all the nonsense, that's a British word, and you'll get the idea, appear on television. Prince Andrew back in the hot seat as his alleged victim goes to civil court. R. Kelly is also in court. And Cuomo, the governor of New York, resigned because of headlines about the loose hands and all of that. Let's make a commitment, South Africa. No more of all of that. Let's do a Mike Shaman. One person, one positive gesture for our country. Forget the politics and all of that. Do something good this weekend. My name is Tanya Curry, and this is this week's Acumen Media Report.